Hello everyone, welcome back to Gaming Zone. Today I got a very interesting and special video that I was planning for quite a while. As you might remember from the past format, I teased a series called Beyond the Limits, basically exploring what's out after the limits set by developers in-game. And today it's finally the day when this series comes out. I have made a pilot episode on one of the secondary channels which got abandoned after losing my interest in making such videos. Yet this time it's going to be quite different. Let's start off with the campaign. I'm going to make one episode per single player campaign level, since these are quite big and take the time to record and gather footage. Let's see what's outside of SEMPER FIDELS, and you won't believe this. Main menu. The game starts with cutscenes, with this train incoming. From first person we start running off from spoilers. So we are jumping off this train. This is sadly a movie-like cutscene which I cannot break out of character. When we jump inside the train, this is where the fun begins. We fall inside the train and surprise the bad guys with a pistol took from an interesting person. Let's switch to our break persona. Blackburn in third person doesn't have a head, and as you can see his M9 is torn in pieces, yet working. Developers apparently didn't really care about adding a brain on our shoulders. Among the lines we can see the pistol reload animation entirely. The magazine falls out as the character moves the hand weirdly in the sides. The magazine then freezes in the air, followed by the hand pushing it back into the pistol. Quite interesting, don't you think? Now you wondered at least once what's outside of this train. I'm here to answer the question. This tunnel has such an effect that it goes to infinity. It's repeating always, and I have no idea about its real length. But for sure I know that this train is quite long. Let's take a look at it before we actually proceed and show you the cutscenes. First up, when we move the camera without actually the character following you, the train is completely empty. Only select items are there. First one is the M1040 shotgun, which is stuck in this door. This is where our first cutscene will occur. We arrive near a door, and if you look closely, there are bomb models on the door. Meanwhile, near it, the window is completely broken. This is where our character escapes and triggers yet another cutscene. And behind the door, you can actually see a bomb flying. The enemy is invisible, yet this thing for some reason is there. We arrive at a wagon which has blue lighting, and as you can see, it's completely intact. If we look closely on the door, you can see a wounded citizen grasping for help. Reaching the end, we can see a final train section, where sadly there is nothing to see, but you can spot a C4 detonator flying yet again. But this one is rather special compared to what we see in multiplayer, since it has a red button. Moving backwards. This is how our character crouches, prones, jumps, and go back to normal position. Sonic is quite proud of him, don't you think? Also the weapon animations are missing, even firing ones. Here's our first cutscene with quick time event. Our character moves towards the trigger point, which is near that window. It doesn't have animations for some reason, and as you can see, a bad guy spawns behind the wall, quite well made to feel seamless. The characters position themselves. In the enemy's hands, an AKS-74U spawn. He takes out the knife while our character walks in. From the third person, we can see how he catches nothing, but in reality, meaning first person, he catches our gun. You can see how well the animations are made for him in this mode too. It looks quite amazing and realistic. He fails to attack us and we stop him. In third person, he is like stuck in the air. We turn around and the QTE event begins. We press the button and usual action happens. He takes our weapon. In our camera the stationary objects disappeared, having just empty hands. As he takes our weapon, we slap him badly as he turns around. We shoot out the window and he falls out as the character kicks him. When the character turns around, the game actually crashes if you run it in beyond persona. The scenes were updated, and you can see a villain of the game planting the C4 we saw earlier. From far away he looks normal, but when up close he has that weird bug with weapon yet again. He holds a 44 Magnum we see in multiplayer. Let's trigger the cutscene. As you can see, he picks up the flying bomb from before and starts planting it on the door, with the others. You can see our character closing in. As we leave out the window, you can see us jump to our wagon. Let's see what happens when this explosion occurs. You can see how half a train goes away, but the C4 that stayed on the door is still there. Now let's see what happens with the villain. You can see him planting the bomb and running away, right? He's actually hiding behind this wall, in a weird position. Let's trigger the cutscene yet again. Once the player gets out of the train, you can see the door texture changing to something else. Before the explosion occurs, the villain spawns again right in front of the camera. He crouches before explosion happens, and we can see our character. The villain rises up and turns around at our window, where our character is. He shoots it, and the protagonist falls down to a weird manner. He reloads his weapon and disappears, while we finish the quick time events. Yet again this non-animated bug is here, and you can see the effects. One of the arms and half of the weapon goes through the train. Before we continue, I had encountered this interesting bug. This is how the sky of this level looks like, and upon firing the sound distorts. Another cutscene where our player falls inside the train, where friends unhappy that we arrive start attacking us. Final cutscene that ends the level begins here. The soundtrack suddenly changed to constant vibe. And when we look at the final wagon, we can see a friend holding the C4 detonator. Among that, we see the villain yet again, hiding behind the door with bugged weapon. Let's trigger the cutscene. Villain position changes before the entrance, and the masked enemy turns around at us. He raises up the hands when we point the gun at him. And villain in the meantime points his magnum at us. As we protect ourselves, he slaps us to the floor. Not the character missing in the cutscene. This is our first. Masked dude stops waving the hands and looks down at us, while the villain holds us by throat. This is the end of Semper Fidelis mission. Now let's check out the main menu. Apparently it's actually a level red as a background. These are some sprites, images and GIFs that give this interesting feeling of moving light trails. This is what's behind us. Nothing. These screens are the ones seen in options, and the camera switches when needed. This is how it looks like from another view. That is it for today, everyone. This series is very interesting and entertaining, and with the next episode it gets even more awesome with Operation Swordbreaker. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe for more content, click that bell stuff to receive notifications, and stay tuned for more updates. This was Chris, see you in the next episode.